Hello, seniors. It's Miss Bellhagen here to talk to you about college financial aid and what you need to do to apply for it. So, just a few quick steps, and you'll be ready to fill out what's called your FAFSA for college financial aid starting on October 1st. But today we're going to talk about a step that has to happen before you can fill out the FAFSA. It's creating something called an FSA ID or Federal Student Aid ID. And it's just a username and password you're going to create so that you can submit your FAFSA online. What is it and why are you using it? All right, all seniors who are planning to attend college this fall or trade school or any type of higher education that potentially offers scholarships and grants, which is all colleges, you need to apply for the FAFSA starting October 1st. So you're going to need one of these IDs. Also, one of your parents or guardians needs one. FSA is the Federal Student Aid ID. That's what it stands for. And you're just going to, when you create it, you're going to have a username and password and so is your parent and guardian. You're each going to have your own. And you need those so that you can sign and submit the FAFSA electronically year after year. You're going to reuse this FSA ID every year that you're in college. You have to redo the FAFSA each fall to potentially try and qualify for financial aid. Here's what you need to have handy when you apply for it: your social security number, your full name and date of birth, piece of cake, your personal email address. So don't use your APS Gmail because you're going to lose that when you graduate. So you'll want to have a personal email address that you're going to keep through college. You'll need your cell phone number and then something to write down the password and username that you're going to create, or save it in your cell phone or whatever's going to work for you to hang on to it for the next few years. Your parent and guardian needs basically the same stuff: name, date of birth, a separate email that's not the same as your email or it will mess up the IDs. They have to use their own email address, their cell phone number, something to make a note of the username and password they create, and just a note about their social security number. If you have a social security number, but your parent doesn't have one, if they happen to be undocumented, it's okay. Students can still submit the FAFSA and potentially qualify for federal financial aid and college financial aid, even if their parent doesn't have a social security number. There's a different way to go about it. I'm happy to talk to you about how that will work. Or there's also El Centro de la Raza at UNM, a department that does amazing work with students and families that don't have social security numbers. Okay. If your parent has already created an FSA ID in past years because you have an older sibling who did the FAFSA, great. They just reuse that old FSA ID. If they don't remember what it was, they can go to the FSA ID website, which I'm going to show you, and they just say forgot username, forgot password, and it should send it to them. All right. Student gets an ID, parent gets an ID. Where do you go to get this? Studentaid.gov, click create account. It's very obvious, or just Google create FSA ID and it will be obvious. A little more info.
Okay, here we go. Basically, if you're a student or parent and you're applying for financial aid, you're doing it electronically by filling out the FAFSA. And studentaid.gov has a lot of other info on their website about borrowing money if you need to. But let's stick to this. The reason you're doing the FSA ID is to sign the FAFSA. The ID is your account username and password. And to get ready to get one, you need your social security, your mobile phone, and your email address. All right, you're going to studentaid.gov, selecting create account. Click get started. You need your own FSA ID, So you do one and the parent does one. Don't try to combine them or use the same address, email address. Yep, if you need help, you can click the question mark. You're going to create your own username. You're going to create a password. Use your personal email. Remember, not your school email. Yeah, keep your password neutral. And make sure, yet again, you and your parent have separate email addresses for your own FSA IDs. They're going to ask you for your address and phone number. You can decide if you want to give them your cell number. It is a good idea because if you ever forget your password, you're going to want to be able to enter your cell to recover it. They're going to prompt you a bunch of things about how they communicate with you. Email is the best way. And yeah, they'll be sending you some information about funding for students. You can opt out of getting their additional communication, so you may want to do that. You choose if you want English or Spanish. And then you select your own 4 challenge questions. And so make sure you know what the answers are to your challenge questions. This is all super cautious because we're talking about your identity, your social security number. You want to make sure to keep this thing safe. So having careful authentication and multiple security questions is a good idea. Now they want you to add 2-step verification, again for safety, for your safety. They're always going to check to make sure it's you and have you enter a secure code. You can do that by text or email. You choose. And you'll see this when you're working on it. It's very user-friendly. You just enter your info. It's almost finished. So they're going to make you verify your email and your cell phone. And this is just going to happen this one time that you're applying for the FSA ID. Remember, you're going to use this same ID for 4 years for college. So this is just a one-time deal that you have to go through this process. And this is an optional step using an authenticator app. It's even extra security. You decide if you want to do it. It's actually new this year for FSA IDs. You'll just follow the steps on the screen while you're working on this. Don't lose heart. You always have a backup code. Great. Okay, you've gone through all that, and then you have your FSA ID. So don't forget to check your email, and your parent have them check also, because it takes a couple of days, 1 to 3 days, they say, for the Social Security folks to verify and match up your number with your account that you've created. So this is why we're having you do this in advance of doing the FAFSA when it opens on October 1st. Okay, if you create this FSA ID right away after you learn about it, just go home and do it, and then it'll take 2 to 3 days for the federal government to confirm it. And once that's ready to roll, then you can do your FAFSA on October 1st. So that's the timing of it.
Okay, so that was a lot. Once you log in to create your FSA ID, it will be user-friendly and simple. You don't have to do all those two-step verification steps they mentioned. But since this is linked to your social security number and your identity, and it has to do with federal government and funds for college, it's a serious thing. So take that seriously. And once it's created, you're done for the next 4 years of college and can submit that FAFSA. So when should you get this step done? Do it right away, because you heard them say it takes like 3 days for the federal government to verify and validate your application for an FSA ID. They process it, then they'll email you and say, hey, great news, your FSA ID is created and approved, and you can use it to submit your FAFSA. And since you want to get the FAFSA done as soon after October 1st as possible, I would go home tonight, just crank out that FSA ID, have a parent do one, and get it done. So where can you find this info if you want to show it to your family or review some of the steps? I'm going to post this video in the Just for Seniors class of senior class page on the counseling website. And we'll be talking in the next video about how to actually submit the FAFSA and how that works. Okay, have a great day, students.